Back at it once again. It's your man, Boss Gang VIP with the weekly money watch. SPY was absolutely phenomenal last week. We were able to make a new all-time high. Will that continue this week? I'm looking forward to finding out. I do expect to have an absolutely phenomenal week. There are lots of potential catalysts. We'll just see how it plays out this week. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can get the updates as soon as they drop. Let's start off this week like we always do with a quick update from the Roth portfolio. Things are going absolutely according to plan. I actually will be putting out an update video with some information that may be relevant for you. I started the portfolio to educate people, and I want to get into some advanced techniques to create more income that you can repeat over and over. So be on the lookout for the next portfolio update. There may be some things that affect you. They may not affect you. Overall, it's about education and making money at the same time, right? We've been able to do that so far. We want to see if we can keep that going. And I have no doubt in my mind that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's get into the economics calendar for the week, Monday, June 30th. This is a short week. We got a new month. Monday, June 30th, Chicago Business Barometer PMI. Tuesday, July 1st, S&P final U.S. manufacturing, construction spending, job openings, auto sales. Wednesday, ADP employment. Thursday, initial jobless claims, U.S. employment report, U.S. unemployment rate, hourly wages year over year, trade deficit, factory orders. 4th of July, the market will be closed. Lots of catalysts this weekend, lots of things people have been paying attention to. Trump administration live update, Senate to begin one big, beautiful bill, vote-a-rama Monday. Right now it is 12:57 a.m. on the West Coast. This article was put out at 11:38 Pacific time. So this is pretty much the latest data that we have. What does the Senate vote-a-rama Monday consist of? The Senate on Sunday afternoon began debate on President Donald Trump's mega bill for his second term priorities after a dramatic procedural vote late Saturday night. There could be up to 20 hours of debate. There could be up to 20 hours of debate. While Democrats will use their allotted 10 hours, Republicans are expected not to. The Senate will begin its vote-a-rama, at 9 a.m. Monday, during which time senators will offer amendments to the bill. Overnight Sunday, the Senate parliamentarian ruled more provisions out of order with the reconciliation process Republicans are using to pass the bill with a simple majority. If it passes in the Senate, the bill goes back to the House to consider changes to the Senate made. It's late. Please excuse me, it's really late. If it passes in the Senate, the bill goes back to the House to consider changes the Senate made to the House's version of the bill, which passed by one vote. The wording is pretty crazy. I think I could have made that a lot more simple. So everybody's just going to have their turn to speak, and if they want to make adjustments, they'll let it be known. Pretty simple, right? So that's going to be happening Monday, 10 hours apiece. The Democrats are expected to take up their full 10 hours. Republicans say, we're good with the bill. We don't have much to say. U.S. UK-US tariff deal begins, but still no news on steel. Recent article, a deal to cut import tariffs between the US and UK has come into force, giving British car makers preferential access to the world's biggest consumer market. It will allow UK motor manufacturers to sell up to 100,000 vehicles to the US at a tariff of 10%, a big advantage over international competitors, while tariffs on UK aerospace exports have been cut to zero. In return, the UK will scrap tariffs on US ethanol products, a move which the British bioethanol industry says will make it impossible for it to compete. However, UK steel and aluminum remain subject to a 25% tariff, which could double to 50% if the UK and US do not reach a deal by deadline day on 9 July. All right, cool. So that's what we're looking at with the UK. Let's see. Canada rescinds digital service tax to restart U.S. trade talks. Canada has a digital service tax, and Trump doesn't like it. So he says we're going to put a bunch of tariffs on Canada, and we're going to stop the trade talks. And then Canada says, okay, we're going to rescind that tax. And Trump says, we can get to the trade talks. All right. Pretty simple, right? Ottawa announced late Sunday that it was rescinding a tax on technology firms generating revenue from Canadians just hours before it was to take effect in an effort to move forward trade negotiations with the United States. Ottawa's Department of Finance announced in a statement that because they were scrapping the digital services tax, Prime Minister Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump have agreed to resume trade negotiations with the goal of signing a deal by July 21. Rescinding the digital services tax will allow the negotiations of a new economic and security relationship with the United States to make vital progress and reinforce our work to create jobs and build prosperity for all Canadians. Minister of Finance and National Revenue Francis Philip Champagne said. Announced in 2020, the digital services tax sought to ensure domestic and foreign companies profiting off of Canadians online were paying taxes on that revenue. According to Ottawa, it levied a 3% tax on revenue earned from certain digital products that rely on the engagement, data, and content of Canadian users, as well as certain sales of Canadian user data. Companies to be affected were online marketplace and advertising services as well as social media companies, including Google, Apple, Amazon, and Meta. The tax was to take effect Monday amid ongoing trade negotiations between Canada and the United States. However, Trump on Friday unilaterally called the talks off after being informed American technology companies would be hit with a 3% tax, which he described as a direct and blatant attack on our country. All right, cool. Senate tax bill. This came out on June 17th. Just reiterating the news for the people who don't know with some details. Senate tax bill includes $1,000 baby bonus in Trump accounts. Here's who qualifies. Key points. A new savings account for children that comes with a $1,000 deposit from the federal government remained in the U.S. Senate's version of President Donald Trump's budget bill. Funds in the so-called Trump accounts can be used for education expenses or credentials, the down payment on the first home, or as capital to start a small business. Qualified withdrawals are taxed at the long-term capital gains rate, while distributions for any other purposes are taxed as ordinary income. A new savings account for children with a one-time deposit of $1,000 from the federal government remained in the U.S. Senate version of President Donald Trump's budget bill. So essentially, anybody under 8 years old gets to participate, and the parents can contribute up to $5,000 a year. Right now, people can contribute to IRA $7,500, $8,500, something like that. I don't know the exact number. It changes. But this is going to be another way to minimize your taxes. It's pretty crazy how that works, right? So don't just see this stuff and take it lightly. Yeah, saving money on taxes is pretty cool. Also, maybe they're trying to, get people to have more babies. They say we don't have enough babies, right? So maybe this is a way. Let's get into the almanac for the week before we get into these setups. So last day of Q2 bearish for Dow, down 18 of the last 33, but up 10 of the last 13 trading sessions. Bullish for NASDAQ, up 21 of the last 31 trading sessions. Right now, overnight, the market is currently trading up. First trading day in July, S&P has been up 31 of the last 35, average gain about 0.5%. Tuesday, the Dow historically 81% bullish, S&P 90% bullish, and the Dow 85.7% bullish, making this one of the most bullish days historically of the year. Wednesday, potentially some profit taking. Thursday, expect a bullish day just before the weekend. July is the best performing Dow and S&P month of the third quarter. And Thursday is actually a shortened trading day, so keep that in mind. Thursday is a shortened trading day. And Friday, the market is closed. Keep that in mind. In the scenario, you may have options with weekly expirations. There are less days in the week, so don't get caught not paying attention to those, right? So let's get into the setups for the week that we're going to be looking at. We actually got 4. A lot of these are just momentum. We want to try to take advantage of this bullishness and momentum. So let's see what we can do this week. One of the most bullish stocks in the market right now we're going to be looking at for this week is BBAI. Let's see. Let me maximize this screen for you guys. So one of the tickers I'm going to be looking at for BBAI, this has been really, really strong, really, really strong. Could that get to $10 in the next couple of days? I don't know. That'd be crazy. That would be really, really crazy, right? But what we are looking for is a 312 on the 4-hour above $5.98. This is starting up overnight. We'll see if we get any pullbacks to that 5.98, or if it just gaps and goes and tries to make a move back up to that 10. Something else we're going to look at for this week, we're looking at RCAT. That also has a 4-hour entry. Let's see. Can I get over $10? That would be pretty crazy. Starting up overnight. It's currently 734, 735. We'll see how that goes. Got some room above, some gaps. So we're looking at a 4-hour entry, 2 to 4 hour above $7.29. So 2 up on a month. We actually, pulled back off the high. So we want to see if that'll push back up, specifically this week and going forward, till we get this influx of cash into the system. But remember, this week is a short trading week, so definitely keep that in mind for all of these stocks. But RCAT looking really, really good at these levels. The stock that actually gave some discounts last week, outside week, we want to see if this starts to push back up toward that gap above ALLT. Currently showing up after market around $8.14 on the bid right now. We'll see if this can push back up, get to about that 12.5 level. The entry on this one, 2 to 4 hour above $8. So pretty clean there. We're in the middle of the range, right? Currently outside quarter, but it is green and we got that discount. So we'll see if we get that move back up over $8. Again, a lot of these plays, we're just simply trying to take advantage of momentum and some discounts here. Last ticker we're going to be looking at this week, AMPX, 3224 hour above a $4.15. It's been really, really strong. We want to see how this goes. See if we can make a pretty quick move up to around the $6 mark. That'd be pretty crazy, right? That's about 50% upside from here. Bid right now for 20, good number. So I believe most of the market is going to gap up tomorrow, and maybe we have a good couple days, the next couple of days, some pullback, some profit taking, and then going into the rest of July, things should be mostly bullish overall, is my guess there. Hopefully this helps you guys out. If anybody has any comments or questions or anything like that, make sure to put those in the comments down below. If you get any wins, I'd like to hear about those. If there's any tickers that you want me to pull up or take a look at, please make sure to let me know. Again, be on the lookout for the updated Roth portfolio video, and I'm looking forward to having a great week. It's your man, Boss Gang VIP, once again with the weekly Money Watch. I'm out. Peace.